Hey guys, I'm Courtney. Today I've got some beginner-friendly projects that you can do year-round using your Cricut. Thank you to Cricut for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into it. For this beginner project, we're going to be working with a tea towel. Now, I find tea towels to be a little easier to work with than a t-shirt when it comes to beginner projects, just because it's a little more forgiving in placement. So what I have here is a tea towel that I got in a 4-pack on clearance from Marshall's, and I've folded it and kind of, squunched it up at the top so I know how it's going to hang. And then taking my ruler, I'm kind of just deciding, okay, how big do I want my image to be? And ultimately for this tea towel, I did 6 inches long and then 4 inches wide for my decal. Now this right here is a piece of iron-on. You can see that this is a super shiny side, and then there is a matte side to iron on. Here are the two things you need to remember about iron-on. Number one, when you're working with it, you always want to put the shiny side down onto your Cricut mat. Number two, you always want to mirror their image. Now, if for some reason you forget and you're like, I can't remember what 2 things I need to remember, the Cricut Design Space, which I did do a tutorial in the first video of this 3-part Cricut series where I talked about Design Space, will remind you. It will say, did you mirror the image? Shiny side down. It won't let you down. So once that is all secure and ready to go, you just slip it into your Cricut machine and let it cut out. To attach my iron-on decal, I'm going to be using my Easy Press, and the temperature, I'm going to set it to 315 degrees, and it's going to be for 30 seconds for the first press, and then the second one, it's going to be at 15 seconds. So I love this thing because it has that little timer on there, so that makes sure that I don't overdo the pressing. Now my tea towel was looking kind of like a hot mess with all these creases, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Easy Press just to go ahead and get all of those creases out, and this also will warm up the tea towel so that it's a little bit warm when I go to put my decal down. After all the creases were pressed out, then I folded the towel exactly how I wanted it, and then I wanted to go ahead and crease it here so that way I knew exactly where I needed to put my decal. And then once I got that pressed, I opened it up, made sure that my tea towel was a little bit warm, and then I went ahead and took my decal and stuck it down. So for this one, I needed it on 315 for 30 seconds. I'm going to hit the start on that timer, and it said light pressure. So for me, what I do for light pressure is instead of just setting it on there and letting go, I set it on there, and then I just rest my hand on there, like the weight of my hand. I don't give any additional pressure. And then I'm going to let that sit for 30 seconds. Once that's done and my timer beeps, I'm going to flip it over and then do the same thing for 15 seconds. Once that 15 seconds is up, I'll take my Easy Press off, and then I want it to cool so that I can peel the glossy sheet on top of it off. Now this chocolate bunny in Cricut Design Space did have a little bow, which was a different color, so it was super easy to do. It just meant that the pink was going to be cut out on a separate mat. Same process, just like you did for the chocolate bunny. So I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper down so that I protect that chocolate bunny, and then I'm only going to put pressure on this for about 15 seconds, and then I'm going to flip it over and also do the back, making sure that that parchment paper is there just to kind of help it, and then again let it cool and then peel off the liner. The next easy project to do is working with tumblers and mugs. I absolutely love working with these because they make such great gifts. They're just fun to kind of change up and personalize cups you may have around the house. Now, this is a 30-ounce tumbler, and there are two main things you really need to remember about working with these tumblers or mugs. The first thing is that you want to make sure the surface that you're going to be applying your decal to is really, really clean. So I always wash my mugs and tumblers with hot soapy water, and then I go in with some rubbing alcohol and I rub down the area where my decal is going to go. The second thing you want to make sure to do is use permanent vinyl. This will allow it to adhere and stay on there for a longer amount of time. Now with that, you need to make sure you know that you cannot run this through the dishwasher. So if you do give this as a gift, I should say, to somebody, or just even for your own knowledge, you want to go ahead and hand wash these. There are also a lot of great free printables on Pinterest where you can print out little care cards for vinyl cups and mugs. So definitely check those out if that's something that you'd like to do. Now going on to applying your vinyl decal. And the trick to applying a decal to a curved surface is you want to get it lined up, then go ahead and press the middle section of your decal and then work your way out, pushing it down, and then just rub it down, make sure it's nice and attached, and then peel off that transfer tape. And one thing I like to do when I'm peeling off the transfer tape is I just take my little scraper tool and I pull the transfer tape up while I'm pushing the scraper tool down across the design, and it just helps that transfer tape just come up and not pull any letters, symbols, or any of the vinyl decal with it. And the other thing I wanted to quickly tell you is that for the 30-ounce decal design on tumblers, I use 3.25 inches for the width and 2.75 inches for the height for the sizing of the decal. If you have a 20-ounce tumbler, it's going to be 3 inches wide by 2.5 inches high. Now here is a mug. It's the exact same process. You just make sure you clean it, you put down your decal, you're good to go. And then I did want to quickly show you, I also have some of my cleaning products in these glass bottles that I did order from Amazon. I will link everything I possibly can for you guys from this video down below in the description box. And I just made some quick decals and then put them on top of these cleaning bottles just to make it a little more fun. The next easy project that you definitely could make throughout the year is a project using tags. Now tags can be found anywhere, especially at Dollar Tree. They have so many different ones that you can choose from. Tags are great for personalizing birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, stockings, Easter baskets, and maybe even some items if you're organizing perhaps your pantry or a closet. They just kind of amp up your home decor because who doesn't love a fancy looking label? Now, these are super easy. Whatever label you decide to use, you just apply your vinyl. Now, I did want to share my tip. Once I get the transfer tape on a decal, I like to rub my decal all different directions. So I'll rub the front. I also flip it over and rub the back. I turn it and go left. I go right. I apply pressure up. I apply pressure from the bottom. I mean, I rub it all over, and I never really ever have an issue with the decals separating from the transfer tape. And then it's the same little kind of peeling trick here. What I'll do is I'll just kind of grab the backing of the vinyl and I will use it against my scraper here and I will just pull, and then there's my decal ready to go. So tags, definitely use them, definitely make them because they are super easy. This next beginner project really doesn't need much explanation, and that is, of course, making signs. Dollar Tree has a lot of great blanks, and one thing about signs is you can kind of think about removable vinyl versus permanent. Now, I typically will use permanent vinyl when I make my signs because I don't really have plans to change them. However, for this one, I used removable vinyl, so that way, if I decide to go ahead and change it, I can use this blank some other way, and I can just peel it off very, very easily. Now, this sign is going to get amped up in just a little bit at the end of this video because I'm going to do another little project to enhance it, but Really super easy, tons and tons of blanks that you can get from different stores to help you make signs. Check out thrift stores that you can redo. Really, really great, easy beginner project. And the last easy beginner project is making garlands, as well as several other paper crafts. So here I cut out some bunnies. These were designs from the Cricut design space that I just found the bunny, sized it how I wanted it to be, and then I just cut out several of these bunnies with some brown cardstock. This was actually craft board that's sold by Cricut, so it's a little bit thicker than cardstock, but I went ahead and cut those out, and then I wanted to just add a little something to them, so I went ahead and glued on some little white pom-pom balls for the tail. Then I also cut out some white flowers. These again were also from the Cricut design space, and to kind of snazz these up, I had these half circle beads that I went ahead and hot glued those to the center of my flowers. Then it was just a matter of gluing these directly to a piece of twine. Now, when you go to glue things and make a garland, you want to make sure that your twine is actually closer to the top of your I'd say designs here, but your pieces that you are attaching, because if you put it in the middle, it's going to cause your little things to fall forward and your garland to kind of hang wonky. And then once that was done, I went ahead and strung it up, and then this garland was finished. This next paper craft is something that is super pretty because it's using the Cricut markers, and it is drawing out a design that I found in Cricut Design Space. And this was really easy to do. All I had to do was just switch out the markers. The machine would tell me when to switch it and which marker to switch it with. And what I really like about this versus just printing one on your printer is because it looks like it was hand drawn. I mean, essentially it was. It may have been a machine drawing it, but when you look at it up close, it actually looks like somebody took the time to draw out this picture. So for this little sign, originally I thought I was just going to go ahead and just kind of put a twine hanger on it and just hang it on my little hook thing that I have in my kitchen. But then I decided I wanted to make it look like a scroll, but I didn't have enough space to do that. So here I decided to come up with a way to just kind of do a faux scroll, and the easiest way I could do that was just to take some of the extra cardstock, go ahead and roll it up and hot glue it, and then just hot glue it on the bottom and the top of this, and then there you go. I had a cute little scroll to hang up with all of my little Easter decor in the kitchen. So the last paper craft is making paper flowers. Cricut has a ton of different designs in their Cricut design space where you can pick out flowers. So I just took some yellow cardstock and pink cardstock, and I went ahead and had a couple different flowers cut, and these are so easy. You start at the end of it, and I'm using this little quilling tool. It has a little slot so that way I can slip the flower in there. If you don't have this, you could make do with a bamboo skewer. You could even just use your own little fingers and twirl it up. And then the beauty of it is you can make it as tight as you want to, or you can kind of let it release and make a more full and more bloomed looking flower. And then the end of it, as far as kind of getting it all closed up and put together, is at the bottom of these there's kind of like a little round flap. You just hot glue that to the bottom, and there you go, your flowers are done. So after I made these flowers, these are the flowers that are going to amp up my little sign that I made, and I'm just gonna go ahead and hot glue these to the base of this sign, and then that's it. It's just a great little thing that you can do to enhance a sign. Super easy to do. These sizes for these flowers, I did 4 inches as well as 3 inches, and that gave me, in the end with the finished product, when it was all kind of wrapped up, it gave me a 1 inch and a 1/2 inch flower. And there you go. I hope some of these projects will inspire you to make some of your own. Let me know down below in the comments which one of these was your favorite. And if you're still with me, drop a fruit emoji down in the comments. Also, if you have a series recommendation for me for Amazon Prime, HBO Max, or Netflix, please let me know because I'm on the hunt for a new series. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye!